guys, this is the mall that they had built. If the three of us put together what we have, we can build an even bigger mall.
And you know, if we invest just 100% more than what these guys have invested, I think we can build a mall twice as big as this.
I think we benefit a lot in terms of land, labor, and capital. I have 2 billion that I'd like to invest after a conversation last night.
That's great, Romeo. I have the plot close to the Western Bypass that we can use.
That would be a perfect place to build a new mall.
Yeah.
And you guys know, I'm a registered construction company. My company did 40% of the construction work here at Grove Mall. I can give my expertise. So.
Shall we say we have a deal?
Let's put our hands together as a sign of agreement. I will look for a lawyer to get the paperwork ready for us.
Shall we go to the plot where we're going to build the new mall?
Yeah.
Hi there. Welcome to NAMCOL's 4th program in Development Studies series for Grade 12 learners. Today, we will discuss the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Our learning objectives for you that at the end of this video lesson, our learners should be able to explain what is needed to produce goods and services: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Factors of production. Enjoy the lesson with us.
We have a lot of open land that whereby the country can build more malls. It will reduce the unemployment rate of the youth that are just at home.
I think we have the capital that we need to develop this land. Because Namibia is a very few population, and with that population we have a lot of income, we have a lot of capital, so with that capital we can use it to develop this land.
There are a lot of people with skills in Namibia. The reason I say so is because we have a lot of talented and people that are willing to do things and positive-minded people in Namibia, but then they just don't know how to come out and they don't just have the funds, and that would be something that Namibians should actually try and bring out of the people.
Yes, I just think so, because we have a lot of natural resources, and if we use that as well, then we would have enough capital.
The government can send people like outside and they come with knowledge and skills to develop the country.
I do think we have enough land for development in Namibia. Because, well, just look around you. If you take a car and drive out 10 kilometers south or west or north, you will see that how much land we have in Namibia to develop. Just look at the Grove Mall. A few years back, you wouldn't think that a place that big could be developed here in this space, but just take a few years after that, it exists. So we do have enough land. I don't think we have enough skilled people to develop this land. If you look at the companies that are doing the construction, the experts that have been doing the job so far are people that are working from outside. So it's clear that we don't have a lot of people that are skilled to do the job.
We have a lot of land. Is it possible to develop that land? I think it's possible to develop that land. Do we have enough land in the urban area? Maybe not, because I don't think we have enough water. So city-wise, urban-wise, it does seem to look like we don't have enough land. When it comes to the country and the availability of land in the entire country, for sure, we have a lot of land.
Yes, obviously I think we have enough capital to develop the land because we have a lot of tourists in Namibia, so we can do it.
Do we have enough land? Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're sitting on 826,000 square kilometers of land, and we have a population of 2.1 million, 2.2 million people. There's no reason why we should not be able to. Do we have enough skills to develop the land? I think that needs to be discussed, and I think this needs to be debated. I think that's something that has to be expanded to make sure that we have enough skills to develop the land. I mean, we cannot just say, we do have the skills, but we don't have the data, the metadata to support this. I think that in terms of development, depending on what kind of system that you use, land is to be developed. I mean, otherwise, what purpose does it serve?
Sure, I think we have a lot of land to develop this country, given the fact of how many unutilized land we have, given even just around Windhoek as well. So yeah, I do think that we have a lot of land. I do think that we have enough capital to develop our country if like ministers spend less than what they're spending, and if like our military budget was like reformed. I don't think that we have a lot of like skilled laborers to do our work. That's why we actually like most of our skilled labor is imported. So I don't think we'd have like a lot of skilled people.
Namibia is vast, so we have plenty of land.
What do we mean by the factors of production? We mean the things that are used in the production process. In other words, the things that are used to produce goods and services. The basic factors of production are land, labor, and capital. These three factors together with enterprise are necessary for the production of goods and services. We will now study each of these factors of production in turn. Land. When we talk about land as a factor of production, we mean the natural environment. In other words, we mean the whole of the earth with its natural resources or raw materials which are used by people to produce something. Production. Production has occurred for as long as people have lived on the earth. In the traditional societies of the past, land was a very important factor of production. All the needs of people in traditional societies were provided by the natural environment. Animals which were hunted or kept in herds, plants which were gathered or farmed, wood and metal which was used for the weapons and building materials. Land is still very important in modern day life. It provides sites for farms, houses, roads, and factories, and it is the source of building materials and power supplies. What does the natural environment include? The natural environment includes all of the Earth's resources that can be used in production, which in turn can contribute to the growth in wealth. How productive is the land? That depends on the quality of the land and the resources provided by it, and the way that these resources are conserved. Land as a factor of production is affected by the type of ownership and control of the land. Let us look at the issues in turn. Resources and conservation. We know that land provides the raw materials for production, but the land and natural resources are not of the same quality everywhere. Let us think of places in Namibia. In some areas like the West Coast and the East Coast, the soil is fertile and there is enough rainfall for the crops to grow. Other areas in the interior of the country have infertile soil and low rainfall, and therefore fewer crops can be produced there. Apart from farmland, other natural resources like oil and minerals are found only in certain areas, and even when they are found, the quality of them can be high or low. Not only does a country's land and natural resources also vary in quality, but some of these natural resources are limited or scarce. Some resources can renew themselves or regrow. These are called renewable resources. Crops are examples of renewable resources. We can take crops such as wheat from the land, but by replanting these seeds, we can grow new crops for the following year. Other resources are not renewable ones. Once they are used, they are gone forever. These are called non-renewable resources. Oil and minerals like gold are non-renewable. Once we have taken gold out of the earth, it will not grow back again. And once we have taken all of it out, there will be nothing left. Farmland can be used year after year if farmers treat the land correctly, but it can be damaged through overgrazing and soil erosion, which can make the land infertile. We also need to protect our animals and plant life from pollution and avoid deforestation by replanting trees. So we can see that the land provides resources for production and that these resources are taken from it. But if we want to protect our natural environment, the soil, rivers, oceans, and the atmosphere, so that it can keep providing resources, we need to conserve and maintain it. Otherwise, it will not be productive for future generations. Labor. What is labor? It is the work that someone does to produce goods or to provide a service, or it involves the human effort, physically or mentally, that is put into the production process. In traditional societies, families looked after themselves and did a whole range of work. The most important job was to be self-sufficient, which means to produce food to feed themselves. But they also had to provide shelter for themselves, educate their children, and fulfill any other needs they had. There were no modern factories or machines to make goods, nor were there schools or hospitals, so people had to use their own labor to meet their needs. But important changes have taken place since those days. Farming has become more efficient so that it is no longer necessary for the majority of people to use their own labor to produce food. Also, new industries have emerged which require people's labor but in a more specialized way. People specialize in one kind of job rather than doing a whole range of jobs themselves. In this way, work can be done very quickly and efficiently as each person becomes very good at his or her particular job. Let's look at the concepts of specialization in more detail. Specialization can take place in different ways. Individual. An individual performs a specific task. For example, a teacher, nurse, doctor. Region. A particular area can concentrate on few major products or services. Example, the coastal areas are known for fishing products. Country. A country produces certain products for export. Example, Namibia exports diamonds and South Africa exports gold. In modern society, people are not as dependent on their local environment as they were in traditional societies. They produce goods or provide services in order to earn money. They can then use or exchange this money for other goods and services, which may come from far away. Labor specialization is involved in all these processes. Let's look at an example. A farmer grows crops and rears chickens and sells them to earn money. The farmer has specialized, growing crops and chickens, and exchanged the products from his farm for money. The farmer might use this money to buy a tractor, which has been in a factory where labor specializes in the production of tractors. The farmer may also pay a teacher for educating his children, and the teacher is a specialist who has been trained to teach. In this way, each part of the country's economy is linked together by the process of specialization and exchange. Specialization is a form of division of labor, which is divided up, or the allocation of work to different people, each of whom performs a different task. So, each individual specializes in a certain task. In other traditional societies, labor was divided in a simple way according to gender. The man did the hunting and the cattle rearing, and the woman cooked, gave birth, and reared children, and grew and collected plants. In the modern societies, the division of labor is more complex, as we saw above in the case of the farmer. Other examples are engineers or mechanics who can only find employment once they have learned how to build roads or bridges, or how the engine of a car works. They will not have to produce food, but instead can buy food from a shop with money they earn from their job. Why is specialization important? Because workers who specialize in one particular skill or job know exactly what is expected from them. They can do their job well since they become experts or highly skilled at their work. Often they have spent a long time training and are paid high wages or salaries. On the other hand, people who are not specialized and have little or no training are called unskilled. A good example of specialization is factory work. For instance, when a car is made, one worker specializes in assembling the parts of the engine. The next one fixes the windows, and the next one sprays or paints the car, and so on. By concentrating on a particular job, each worker becomes an expert at it. But these jobs do not require much education and training. Therefore, factory workers are not paid as well as engineers or scientists who need to spend years studying their specialization. What are the advantages of specialization? Specialized machinery can be used to increase production. Most businesses use specialized machines to increase their output and keep their average cost as low as possible. This is called economies of scale. By doing one task, workers learn how to do their work very quickly. Time is saved because people don't have to move from one point to another. Less training is needed as each worker knows exactly what to do. The main advantage of specialization, then, is to allow people to become experts at their particular jobs. This is essential in modern society because work is very complex and no one would be capable of doing it all. Other advantages are that it increases the quantity of goods produced, the speed at which they are produced, and it raises the quality of goods produced. What are the disadvantages of specialization? Specialized workers might find it hard to change jobs if they become unemployed because they only know one part of the job. People don't feel involved in their work and don't understand other people's jobs. A strike by one group of workers will affect other groups as they cannot complete their whole job. It can be boring and unpleasant to repeat one job over and over and not be able to expand it. Each worker produces only a small part of the finished product, so he or she does not see the product as his or her creation and takes less pride in it. If a worker is trained to do one job, it is difficult to change and do another job. There is less variety of goods as standardized products are manufactured. The third factor of production is capital. Let's see how it contributes to the production. Capital. The concept of capital is more complicated than the other two factors of production we have looked at so far. When we talk about capital in this field, we think of money and of capital goods which help us in the production process. There is money capital and capital goods. Let's look at these two forms of capital in turn. Money capital is money that is used to increase production. It is used in ways which help you to earn more money. You can invest it so that it earns interest, or you can spend it on capital goods to help you earn more. When people earn money, they can use it in two ways. They can use it to buy goods like food or books or movie tickets. This is called consumption. Or they can use the money to make more money. This is called investment. For example, you build a housing complex and rent out the houses in it to other people. We say that you've invested in houses which you rent out to generate or make more money. Your money is used to increase production. Capital goods. Capital goods are goods which are used to increase production. Let's think of an example. We said in the last section that spending money on goods is called consumption. Usually here, the money is used without increasing production. But you could also buy goods and use them to make more money. If, for example, you would buy a car for your private use, this is consumption. You are not making any money from the car. But if you use the car as a taxi, then you are using it to provide a service, a taxi service. And for this, you are paid money. Your car has become productive, therefore it is a capital good. What are some other examples of capital goods? Farmers buy seeds and fertilizers to grow crops. They buy young cattle to fatten up and sell for meat. They also buy technological goods such as tractors and wind pumps. All these goods are used to increase production on the farm. Therefore, they are all capital goods. In other industries, technologies such as factory buildings, machinery, and computers are all examples of capital goods. Enterprise. The process of bringing together the factors of production to produce goods and services is known as enterprise. The person who uses an enterprise, for example, who brings these things together, is called an entrepreneur. So we can explain an entrepreneur as the person who is responsible for organizing and bringing together all the three factors of production: land, labor, and capital. There are a number of ways in which production can be organized: by individuals, by companies, and by other organizations. Viewers, let's summarize. The three factors of production are land, labor, and capital. Land is the natural environment. The resources which it provides vary in quality, and it may be owned or controlled in different ways: private, public, and collective. Labor is work done by a person. An important feature of labor is specialization, when people do only one job which they are skilled to do. Capital comes in two forms: money capital and capital goods, or technology. Both are investments which increase production. Enterprise is the organization of production using the three factors of production: land, labor, and capital. I hope you've enjoyed watching and learning with us. But before we go, here's our SMS competition question for today. Please SMS us at 5003 and mention the keyword for this lesson, which is factors. Then leave a space and type A, B, or C for the answer you choose as correct. Each SMS costs 3 Namibian dollars. Here's the question. Tell us which statement you think is correct amongst these three options. The process of bringing together the factors of production to produce goods and services is known as A, enterprise, B, entrepreneurship, or C, production. Here's the question again. Tell us which statement you think is correct amongst these three options. The process of bringing together the factors of production to produce goods and services is known as A, enterprise, B, entrepreneurship, or C, production. The winner will be announced within 3 days, and if it's you, we will contact you to come and collect your prize at a NAMCOL center near where you live. Thanks again for watching, and see you again soon. Goodbye.